Every morning the air pressure is low. I get all these noises, air pressure low, and now it's alright. So I'm in the back of the truck checking the load. I make sure all these straps are tight and that they are strapped the way I was shown and that everything looks secure, and also to check where they're going first. So give me a few minutes to check these over. Good morning YouTube. It is the 21st of July, it's Wednesday today, and this is my second day doing deliveries on my own. You've just seen me drop off the trailer from yesterday because I got back a little bit late. Now I am going to Hayley, so I've got some coils weighing a total of 5 tonnes and I've got to deliver them to Hayley, so that's going to be the first stop. Estimated arrival time is 8 o'clock, so see you there. Well, that's the first delivery, guys. And I think it took me longer to reverse in here than it actually took him to get the coils off. But never mind. It's early and not many people were watching, so that's a good thing. Now I'm off to Swindon. Now I always check on Google Maps these places because it's hard enough in the rigid, but then something twice as big, you got to be careful, haven't you? Places to turn around, which way to go in. So I'm having a look on Google Maps where the place is, and then I will be able to line up my sat nav with the same place, hopefully. I don't want it taking me the wrong way, so that would just be a nightmare. Okay, there we go.
In a quarter of a mile, turn right onto the alley, then take the first left.
Right, let's get moving. Noisy. Emptying bin into a skip with a forklift. Yeah, let's get moving, and we can chat more about my ventures on Class 1 and how my first week and day went yesterday when we get to Swindon. As for now, I'm going to see you in a bit. So guys, I am here. I've never seen so many steel coils in my life as what is in this building right now, with a huge crane. Looks like a magnet as well. Bit of science there, electromagnets. Yeah, so this morning Hale's in. It took me quite a few shunts to get in there. Like I say, it took me longer to actually get on the yard than it did for the guy to get the coils off with the crane. I have been there before in the rigid, and it was of course much easier in the rigid. This time a bit more difficult, but it was alright. Didn't hit anything, so that's all that matters. The guy's nice in there as well. He doesn't rush you or anything. He watched me back and said, "Don't worry." Everyone was really nice, so yeah. I'd say the length of the trailer's not really bothering me, considering this vehicle is longer than the rigid. The length's not bothering me. What's bothering me the most is the way it cuts the corner. So, especially when you're turning into a road where there's queuing traffic, I'm not sure, like, I don't know yet where the trailer will cut the corner, if that makes sense. So in my rigid, I had a feeling of where the truck would be and whether I'd miss those cars or whatever, or a wall or wherever you're turning, where in this one I'm not 100% sure just yet of where the trailer wheels are going to cut the corner, where they're going to go. So yeah, that's what I'm most nervous about. I think as well, you've got that headboard, so when you turn right, the left part of the trailer over there sticks out, so that's another thing as well that I'm having to be conscious of, because, and obviously vice versa, the headboard swings and you can hit something with it if you're not careful. So that's something else to focus on. It's taken a lot more brain power for me, that's for sure. It's not as routine as driving the rigid was. It became easy for me, you know. I knew where the vehicle would turn, I knew how to manoeuvre on the yards. There's nowhere they could have sent me where I couldn't cope with it. Where in this one, I'm okay on our yard, parking the trailers and reversing them into the doors, but I'm struggling when I'm getting to customers' yards because I'm not quite sure how to manage the space just yet. So yesterday I went to Swaddling Coat, first time on my own, and I'd been there on the previous day with the driver trainer, and it's just, when you drive in and you spin, I'm not 100% sure when I spin where the trailer's going to be, if that makes sense. I'm still learning at the moment. So I had to have a few shunts to get that where they wanted it to be. And then the same this morning, going into Hales Owing to that particular yard, I'd gone forward past the skips that they'd got and thought that I could cut it around close to the skips, and then I ended up oversteering and just going wrong. I think I'm still learning how to set up. I think next time, directly opposite they had a driveway, I might just drive into their driveway and then come back straight. I don't know. I'm learning. I'm getting there. It's hard, really. I know on Friday I went out with another driver, and the first place we delivered to was somewhere in Bilston, and that yard you had to drive forwards and across and then reverse all the way down the side of the building. But it wasn't that simple. There's skip lorries and all kinds of other things in the way, cutting past you, and nobody can wait for you. So that was an interesting first delivery for me, but I got there in the end. So my difficulty at the moment is manoeuvring on customers' yards, anywhere that requires a big angle. If it's small angles I can do it, but it's if you need to put more of a turn on the tractor unit and the trailer, that's where I'm struggling. Again, knowing when to take the steering off, when to straighten, when to turn. It's just difficult for me at the moment. Particularly on the blind side as well. I went to the yard, to our other depot, and I was dropping a trailer off for service. And I'd come in from the right hand side, and the trailers were parked this side where I am, if I was coming in this way. So I drove forward and went that way and tried to reverse in, and I was making a meal of it, and I couldn't understand why. And I thought, well, the trailer I'm trying to park next to is on the right hand side, but every time I'm trying to reverse I need to put the right hand lock on, so I can't see the trailer when I'm reversing. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? I can't do it like this. I can't have a guessing game. I mean, of course I can get out 1,000 times and back in and have a look. But I thought, why is it different this time? What's going on? So I had a few attempts at it, a few shunts. Nobody around on the yard, luckily, to have a smile at me. So I thought, I can't do it. So I drove out, went to the bottom of the yard, turned around, and then came in this way and went straight in. And I thought, you silly cow, you're trying to blindside into the space, and you're not even good on near side yet. Oh dear. Well, not even good on my side, not near side. Yeah, blind side and good side. Can't even do it on the good side, let alone the blind side yet. So once I turned it around and went in the other way, it was straight in, no problem. And then it was the same again. I brought another trailer back, and it was hopeless. I just was struggling so much with it. It's funny because some days you could do it really easily and you go straight in one movement, you won't even need a shunt. And then another day, I'm all over the place. And the only variable is a different yard. And that's what's getting me, that's what's tripping me up. I can do it on our yard, where I pick up the trailers from, but go to our other depot and it's a different ball game, if that makes sense. It's hard, this reversing business is, but I'm getting there. Just not on the blind side. The big mirror as well. I'm used to relying on the big mirror, the long mirror, on the side of the truck when I turn, because in the rigid you can see down both sides of the truck at all times. In this one, as soon as you turn a corner and the trailer turns, you can't see anything. So you're having to rely on the wide angle mirror, the smaller one. That's confusing my head a little bit because, as well, in this truck, in this DAF, the long mirror is on the top and the wide angle mirror is on the bottom. In the Scania, in the rigid, the small mirror was on the top and the long one was on the bottom. So my head's getting confused. I'm having to rely more on the wide angle mirror going around corners than on the larger mirror.
Lost satellite reception.
She's lost the signal, we would do in here. So, yeah, like I say, it's when the trailer cuts the corner, that's what I'm most nervous of at the moment. Especially when you're turning and you have to rely on your mirror over there and you're looking in the small mirror and you need binoculars because you can't even see so clearly. So, yeah. Last Friday was a stressful day. Most definitely a stressful day. And there's things like the slider gets stuck. You have enough on your plate as it is, then the slider gets stuck. How do you unstick the slider? Well, you get a piece of wood and you hit it. That's the only way. So there's a lot to learn. Another thing I'm doing, making myself look like a right numpty, is winding the legs down. Or I'm trying to wind them down, but I'm actually winding them up and it won't move. So I have to learn that which way to stand when I'm winding the legs. The other day I couldn't move them at all, so I had to mess around with the air suspension on the little remote down here to loosen the suspension, and then I could get them to wind up. Same with the pin over here. I mean, I pulled the pin out, well, I don't know what it's called, the bar to unhook the trailer. I pulled that, and some of them are so difficult to pull. They pull you back. So I actually have a bruise on my arm here. It's faded a little bit now. I have a bruise here. I don't know if you can see it there. And also a burn, but did that on the exhaust of my motorbike, leaning under trying to clean something. I got bruised from this bloody bar pulling me back underneath. I mean, to do this job you've got to be quite strong. These cables as well, the air ones, when you push them in, sometimes they won't go in. You've got to have such force behind you to make them go. I read somewhere that if you're struggling with the air, you can put your foot on the brake pedal a few times and then it blows the air out and makes it easier for you. But the problem with this truck is it takes so long to build up air. It takes a long time, and without the air you can't move. That's our other driver in front getting a bit annoyed because we're still waiting here. Must have been over an hour by now. yeah, so without the air you can't move. So unless the air is charged up, you know, almost full, you can't release the trailer brake. When you take your handbrake off, it doesn't move. You have to just wait, won't release. So a few comments said on this video, on my last video, sorry, it's nice to see a shunter that actually builds up air. Guys, this isn't a shunter truck, this is my truck. But as you can see, there's nothing wrong with this truck. Some people were saying, oh, they're such a dreadful company giving you that truck, got no respect for you. Guys, what do you expect? I'm a new driver, they're not going to give me a 20 plate one, are they? There's nothing wrong with this one anyway. Just needed a bit of a clean. I wondered why where you stand is so dusty. Now I know. Our yard is full of dust and it gets on your feet and then it makes the footwell dusty. There's no point cleaning it because you're just going to be cleaning it every day. But they fitted me a new seat as well. So, as you saw at the beginning of the video, I got a new seat. So that's pretty cool. And everything works in here. I mean, the air conditioning works, which is brilliant on a week like we're having at the moment. All the buttons work. I don't know what they all do, but they all work. Yeah, I like this tractor unit. There's so much space in here. It's unbelievable. At least when you are waiting around, you can climb on your cab bed or you can walk around in here and there's so much space. Where in the Rigid you were bound to your seat really, because the engine hump in the Scania was above you, above your legs. So to climb on you had to dislocate your hip and everything. But yeah, I like the tractor unit. I don't know why they've designed it with all the buttons in the middle though. They're not facing me, are they? Why is my hazards button over here? Why is it not next to me like in the Scania? I don't know. I'm adapting to it. I'm getting there. But yeah, I'm not sure what I've got this afternoon. The time now is... oh, I can't see this tachograph because it's dark. The other one was better. That one lit up when you touched it. Maybe it'll do it with the ignition. Yeah, it does. 12 o'clock the time is. So, yeah. Just waiting. Yesterday was a nightmare in Swaddling Coat because I was just waiting. And of course the air conditioning works when the engine's running. But when you're on the yard and the engine's not running, it's so hot in here. All windows open, sunroof, everything. Just too hot. Way too hot. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind waiting. I mean, there's nothing you can do. That wasn't the problem. The problem for me was just how damn hot it was inside the tractor unit. So in the end I got out and sat on the back of the trailer. Where the headboard was, it was in the shade behind it, so I just sat there. Even with all of the windows opening, there was just no breeze in here. It was just horrible. And I thought in a minute I'm either going to pass out or melt. My skin might melt off my body. But yeah, it's been an interesting week or so far. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to Big Lorry Biker that won the Kuda Automotive truck accessories competition that I did on here. So Kuda kindly donated a £250 voucher for a lucky subscriber to win, and you'd be able to cash that in on their website with whatever you wanted. So the competition was a number of weeks ago now, but anyway, Big Lorry Biker won. So congratulations, Big Lorry Biker. And he cashed his voucher in on a TV for his tractor unit. And I know he told me that he started tramping again all week, so it was a well appreciated win for him. So well done, Big Lorry Biker, and big thank you to Kuda Automotive as well. If you want to check out Kuda Automotive, I will put their link in the description, and on their website they've got all kinds of truck accessories and things, so if you want to have a look, go and check it out. It looks like my co-driver in front of me, who I've randomly bumped into. I didn't know he was coming here. I've just so happened to be behind him in this queue. Looks like he's getting tipped now, so I'm going to see you guys shortly. It is now 2:45. Oh, it was a bit bumpy there. 2:45. I'm not sure if there's anything else to do after this. I presume if there is, it will only be something local. But yeah, so far it's going alright in the Class 1 in the Arctic. I mentioned earlier there's a lot more to think about when you're driving around, and I'd say that makes me feel a lot tireder than I otherwise would, because there's so many more things to be concentrating on, like the headboard swing, the way it cuts the corners. Then you get there and you got to reverse, but there's no space. Yeah, there's a lot more to be thinking about, and you've got to be a lot more aware of what's around you. There was a situation coming out of Swindon on a roundabout, and I wanted to turn left. And it was quite a sharp turn, so I took the right lane. Well, I kind of straddled. There was a lane going straight and a lane going left, so I straddled both lanes and then edged over to the right to be able to get the turn. And of course I left a gap, so even though I'd got the left indicator on long before this, a car came up the left side of me over that side and wanted to turn left as well. Well, obviously the one behind him had a brain and saw what I was trying to do, so I beat my horn at him just to let him know I was there. But it's these kinds of things where in the rigid you didn't have to worry about things like that, because you could see down the side of the truck all the time, both sides, where this one you lose that bit of sight, so you have to be more aware of what's around you, definitely, which makes you concentrate more, which makes you feel a bit more fatigued than it otherwise would be in the rigid. Do I miss my old job? Yes, I do. That's the honest answer. I really do miss it. Not so much the truck or it being a Class 2 truck, but I miss knowing where I'm going. So in the Class 2 I'd done the same job for 2 years and I knew where I was going, and it became a bit of routine, which is why I didn't really film so many videos. On certain days would be certain deliveries, and it became a routine, which there's nothing wrong with that. You get to know where you're going and you can sort of plan your day better when you know where you're going and who you're going to meet, and you already know the yard and how to get in and out, and will it be busy at this time and what time do they close and when do they have their lunch breaks. When you know it all, it's so much easier to plan when you can stop for your break and things. Where now I have no idea where I'm going, and I don't know anybody or what time they open or anybody's name. Where on the Class 2, over the 2 years I'd built a pretty good relationship with all of the customers and enjoyed having a little chat with them for 5-10 minutes while they were unloading me. So I really miss that. I really miss the customers and being able to have a chat with them, and I have many fond memories of my Class 2 job and the places I deliver, and made some friends that I'm sad to not see anymore, if that makes sense. I do miss that a lot. And of course it's nice knowing that wherever they sent me I could cope with that size truck, where with this one I'm not so confident at the moment anyway. So yeah, and with the class 2, because it's smaller, you don't take as long to unload, and you tend to go to smaller places, so there's not so many health and safety rules, where a lot of these places I'm delivering to now require you to just sit in your cab. Well, I'm an only child, yeah, sort of. I have a half brother and a half sister, but never really saw them growing up. Didn't grow up with them, if that makes sense. So as an only child, I'm not really a lonely person, if that makes sense. I don't like to be on my own. And it was good on class 2 because you got to chat to people while they were unloading you. If you're only unloading 2 pallets or something, you could have a quick how was your weekend and everything, where now just sit in your cab and can be waiting an hour to be unloaded. I mean, I don't know how long I was in Swindon. Must have been a couple of hours just waiting, not talking to anybody. Well, I would have not been talking to anybody if our own driver hadn't have been there. So another driver from K Transport was there. We had a quick chat. But yeah, I miss my customers more than the job, if that makes sense. And of course I miss the factory I used to deliver for, my forklift drivers and people in the office. Yeah, I'd say I miss that a lot more than anything else. Of course, as time goes on, I'm going to get to know everybody's name, and I'm eventually going to get to know where I'm going. So I'll build up those new relationships with the customers. But as for now, it's pretty lonely, I suppose. Don't know anybody, don't know anyone's name, nothing. As well with the multi-drop, sometimes when you got to places that were busy, other drivers would chat to each other. But with the size of this truck, the yards I've been to so far, you can only get one truck on there at a time. So of course, how can you talk to another driver when nobody else can fit on the yard, only you? But yeah, these are just my my thoughts from the transition from class 2 to class 1. I'm looking forward to see what else the future holds and where I might be going tomorrow. Don't know yet. It's always different on this job, where if I was on the class 2 job now, I'd know exactly where I was going tomorrow and what I was doing, where I'll find out a bit later, but the chances are I'll have never been there before, so it'll all be new. I have another 10 miles to get back to the yard, and I've got to do another retorque on the wheel nuts. So because I had a new tyre, well, a new wheel they put on the drive axle, because they took the wheels off and put new ones on, after about 70 to 80 kilometres, something like that, I think it is, you have to retorque the wheel nuts to a certain pressure. Well, I've already done the first one, but because it's a drive axle, there's another retorque to do in about 500 kilometres. Well, I've done around that many kilometres now, so it's time for me to retorque them, and then I can hand this card back to my transport manager. So if you find one of these cards in the truck, it means that there's been a wheel changed, and there's a diagram on there that shows you which one it is, and you have to sign that off and hand it in. Same on the trailers, sometimes the trailers have got one as well. Anyway, another 9 miles to go, and then I'll be back to the yard. So I will catch up with you when I'm at the yard. So I've dropped off my trailer and another driver was back early, so they've loaded my trailer for tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to somewhere near to Cardiff. So that'll be a nice run down into Wales. I've never been to Cardiff, so that's going to be fun. And then I have to pick up a backload from some docks. No idea. I'm learning every day. So I'm going to hitch up to my trailer now, so it saves me something to do tomorrow. And then in the morning I'll check everything over and make sure it's alright. See what I mean about all those noises? Yeah. Two tugs. Okay then. I am going to hitch up this trailer and then get out of here. So as always, if you liked this video, then you can give me a thumbs up. And if you want to stay tuned with me and my adventures, then you can subscribe. Otherwise, I'm going to see you guys in the next one.